So nice of you to come here. Well, I always like to be around people. So what's up? Not much. Sorry, you were saying?
It's your presentation.
Oh, it's my presentation. So I'm responsible. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for telling me. Well, my presentation is about the Agile Manifesto dungeons. It's not about dungeons or dragons, although I promised Matt that I would mention the unicorn. Now he stays. Phew, that was close. And I really want to go into the manifesto more because I find that, a lot of people doing Agile look at the manifesto once, say, oh yeah, great. And then they just go and do stuff and forget about the manifesto. And I'm not sure if people really try to understand the manifesto. So, I'm Cecile Davis. I suggest if you really want to get to know me or know more about me, you just come and talk to me afterwards, so we won't waste time telling who I am. So let's dive into the manifesto. First of all, this is a sentence that is stating that we want to discover better ways of developing software development by doing it and helping others. So what does that mean? Anybody any idea? Arie knows. You should. What does it mean, Arie?
What we meant is that Agile is not something fixed. I think this is why we still have Agile consortium and Agile consortium and Agile communities to improve and to invent and to try to.
Okay, so improving. So it's about learning. And it's about learning by practicing it. And it's also about helping others learn, right? So it's also sort of about working together and learn together. So let's look at the manifesto then. I think I'm going to. So then I won't walk before the screen. So the manifesto, these values. What I find is that if you talk about the manifesto, people usually start asking questions afterwards, like, I know, great, the focus on the left items, focus on individuals and interaction, on working software, of course. Customer collaboration, sure. Being flexible, responding to change, yeah, great. And then the questions they ask are, what tools do I use? And what process do I need? And, what do I still have to document? What can I leave out? And I still need a plan, right? So somehow, still the focus is on the right items. So I want to really focus on the left items today. So what does it mean? Learning, working together, having the focus on individuals and interaction. So that means you somehow have to do something with more people. Of course, the individuals are important too, but just being individuals maybe will not run the race. And working software, of course that's important, but how do you get it? By having just one individual program something, test it, design it, etc., deploy it, whatever. Could be, but that's not usually done in the real world. Are you counting? Matt's counting the times I'm telling you how it is in the real world. And customer collaboration, that's not done by just one individual. you need more people, at least the customer and someone to collaborate with. What is collaboration anyway? It's not just like, oh, we want to collaborate. Let's sit together, and then I'll do my thing, and you do your thing, and perhaps I'll ask you if you want some coffee halfway through the day, or have some lunch together, and we'll get to know each other. Or maybe I can ask you a question, and you can give me an answer. It's way more intense than that. It's more about trying to find a way of really integrating with each other. And we'll do some exercises today, which make you hopefully realize that collaboration is more than just sitting next to each other and exchanging tasks or something. And responding to change. That also needs collaboration. I mean, you can have a complete process. Oh no, I know how to respond to change. I've got a whole plan how to respond to change. But then that plan might change as well. So what do you do then? You need another plan, a backup plan. So you need to work together in that also. So I want to start off with a little exercise. I'm afraid you will need to participate. And what I would like you to do is everybody stand up. And find someone you would like to talk to. And then I would like you to talk about the manifesto. That would be a good topic for 2 minutes. And but there's a catch. You're not allowed to use either the word I, me, or mine. If you do use one of these words, you need to sit down, and then you can keep on talking until your partner uses one of those words, and then he needs to sit down also, and then you're finished. So go ahead.
I was about to start off with the wrong.
You said I heard it.
Okay. That's hard to.
No cheating. Just half a minute. Keep talking, otherwise it's no valid. Oh, I heard an I. Okay, thank you. Just a few people still standing. Great. So that was kind of hard, wasn't it? Most people sat down. I mean, it's only 2 minutes. And even in those 2 minutes, somehow we always talk about ourselves or from our own perspective, which is natural. It's not a bad thing or anything. But how does that come together when we want to work together? maybe we need to be less focused on ourselves. So even testers, talk from their own perspective. So we'll come back to this later. I just wanted you to experience this. I need you to stand up again and gather around here in the open space. We'll do another exercise. This is hard work here. Just stand a bit to, just mingle a bit. And I'll stand up here so I can watch you better. I want you to pick someone from the group and look at his or her back. And maybe you can move to, look at someone's back. Just pick someone and stay with that person. We don't have to be near him, or you can, pick someone some meters away. Oh, look, here's a process going on.
Cecile, I have an issue. I have two guys who want to share my bag.
Well, I should be flattered.
I feel uncomfortable now, so...
Okay, well, we'll change that in a minute. Don't worry. So what I want you to do now is keep the back of the person you picked in focus, but pick someone else's back as well. And look at, so you need to move yourself somewhere so you can look at the back of the person you picked, and you have to pick another person and look at his back or her back as well. So you need to have two backs in focus. Okay, so I think almost everybody has two backs in focus, right? Yeah, they're still moving, some people. Okay, are we all in place? So now I would like to know which one of you has pets at home? A fish or a cat or... Okay, so I would like to ask all the people with pets to move over here and stand in front of here. So now probably a lot of people don't have two backs in focus, right? Right. Well, you need to get those backs in focus again, so do something. These people have to stay here. And you don't have, the people standing here don't have to look at two backs. So it's only the other people. And you're not allowed to turn around, sorry. That's too easy. Ooh, I heard a word, collaboration. So? Sure, why not? Hi. Okay, so is everybody in place? Almost?
And almost out of the door.
Well, it's more cool outside. Okay, thank you. You may take your seats again. So what do we learn from this? Nothing. Oh dear. Well, maybe someone else did learn something. A small change can go through all your system, exactly.
We have to adapt to the changing requirements.
You have to adapt to changing requirements. Yeah? Anything else? Sorry? We must speak to the people we need. Yes. Otherwise, how are you going to tell someone you need something else?
We also need a goal or a vision. It wasn't quite apparent what we wanted to achieve. Just looking at the back wasn't really, what are we gaining by this? What's the overall effect that we want to achieve by doing that?
Okay, so the overall effect was trying to teach you something, that there are always dependencies. And doesn't this sound to you similar as, having applications and, you turn something here and it goes wrong there? You recognize that? So, it's all about dependencies. I mean, you can have individuals, but you always have to deal with dependencies. So, I'll come back to this later again. We're going to build something. I have some blocks here. And I want to build a construction. But obviously, I need someone to build it. So who would like to volunteer? I can have 2 people build it. Goes quicker. Anyone? Here we have a lovely volunteer. 2 volunteers, thank you. So we have all these blocks, and I have some requirements for you. So you have to use all the materials, all the blocks, and it has to be 4 levels high, and I want at least 9 of those blocks standing upright, like this. And I need a bottom for the construction. So I'll give you 3 minutes. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Question, layers, meaning they need to pile up?
Sorry?
4 layers high, they need to
High,
pile.
yeah, in the height.
So we have to climb.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And in time. But now I would like to test it. Can anyone volunteer for testing? I need a tester. Yes, please. Oh, you can do both. Sure, no, you can come both. Sure.
So what shall we test it for?
Well, we have some requirements, so please check if they're done.
Okay. So it's more than 9. All material is used. It's more than 9. Bottom is
there, and 4 layers. So we only count the upright ones as layers?
No, a layer is a layer.
So yeah, at least 4.
Okay, so let's say each block represents a piece of code, right? So there's 36 blocks here, and usually in code, you know, if you have 36 blocks of code, I would say 4 bugs. Testers can find bugs, right? So you all think 4 bugs is reasonable? Yeah? No one objects? Okay. So I have some cards here on the sides of the construction. There are signs of the cards. So I will let you pick. I didn't, you may shuffle them.
Okay.
So I didn't select them or anything. Okay, please take 4 cards. Okay, so here we have 3 of spades, the king of spades, 3 of clubs, and the 2 of hearts. So please remove the bugs. Oops.
There's a joker. Can I use the joker?
I have no paper.
No?
3 of spades, that would be impossible.
You have to get removed all the bugs. Sorry. Yeah, well, they're special testers. Oh, dear.
We break things. So, yeah, there's nothing.
Well,
Well, we are testers, we have to break it.
thank you. So what I would like to do now is have some other builders try again. And this time we will test a little earlier. So would anyone like to build another construction? No one dares, oh dear. Or maybe the same people want to do it again? Sure, you want, sure, come. Ah, that's very collaborative. Okay, but this time you've done it before, so I'll give you 2 minutes.
And we still have to take into account the bug that we had before?
No, you can use anything, everything again.
Okay.
And I will tell you in advance, there will be 4 bugs again. You may help them if you want. Sure. You can, well, you can't have all 4 bugs, but you can have 2. So, you want to pull 2 bugs? Ace of spades and queen of clubs. Look how they work together, testers and builders. Maybe it's one you can't see. Ooh, it's deep down. Look, and it's fixed. Okay, please build on. At the end. Yes. No, it doesn't have to be 4 upstanding layers, just 4 layers.
So they don't have to be...
No, 4 layers. I mean, if they lie down, that's a layer.
Build more layers so you can easier replace.
Good idea.
Stack 9 up and make 4 layers some other place.
Can you repeat that?
9 blocks upright. You make 9 blocks upright
Can
and
you
you make 4
collaborate
layers
with
in a
us?
different place.
Can you collaborate with us? You can't. So 9 blocks up, okay.
Look, another tester helping.
So now we make a base.
You are running a little out of time, though. No, you can't use those bugs.
Ah, but okay.
Which one?
And a woman of clubs.
Okay, so
We'll change the approach.
Okay, thank you very much. So, do we all agree this meets the requirements? No? Why not?
what is required? So, it's not the bottom.
Well, I didn't say all the blocks needed to be on the bottom. There is a bottom. I'm fine with it. So we still need 2 bugs to find. Will you please take 2 cards? Thank you. Oh, we have a 7 of clubs and a spade farmer. Anyone wants to pick them out? Well, we can stay here and sit all evening, but thank you. It's probably hidden again.
No.
There he is. I'll help you.
Could you put another one in?
Sure. Okay, thank you very much. So you're all probably wondering, what the hell has this to do with the manifesto? What do we see happening here?
I think it's important to experiment and we learn from the mistake of the past. For example, here,
Yeah.
the first time it was, I would say, more difficult to find where the bugs were. And I think so through experiment we can learn to better assemble our blocks together so that it's easier to identify them.
Yes, so we started building and then we learned that we need to do it differently and test earlier, for instance, and collaborate more. And and we all have these dependencies. And I'm not sure you noticed, but at one point someone said maybe you can, build a large bottom so you can remove bugs easier. Well, if you know someone's going to test it, it will help you think of how am I going to build it. I've seen it in software also where testers and programmers were doing their own thing. But then when they came together and testers were telling programmers how they would test, they would think, oh, well, if I build maybe not as efficient as I would normally do, but I would do some things double, but first I would fix something so you can test this part of code, then you can start testing earlier. So there's also a dependency between testing and building. And if you communicate on that together and you collaborate on that, you can be more effective in the end. So early involvement in testing can be very important. And that's what testers always tell everybody. We want to get involved early. And so we see there are dependencies, like in the exercise with the bags. There are always dependencies, also in software. So if we look at the individuality of people, which is stated in the manifesto, to have a focus on, but we also have to collaborate more. How does that go together? And we also have to, get our testing done earlier and getting involved earlier and dealing with those dependencies. How do we do that? So let's go back to the manifesto. And let's see what we can do as testers with this. So we need to learn from each other, right? It's all about learning, developing and learning again, and using our insights and helping others, which is also collaboration. So we need to communicate to be able to learn. And if we want to have working software, we can't have working software without communicating anything. Who is that? Oh, there's a nice clock here. Do you know, Alexander, do you know how that works? I'll give that to you to manage. I think so too. Alexander knows everything about bombs. So we're in safe hands. So in order to have working software, at least you need to know what the software needs to do. So you need to collaborate with your customer, and you need to work together and talk to people. And you need to, if you want to respond to change, you need to talk to people, because at least you want to know, well, what changes could I expect? What do you want to change? What's the requirement you want to change? What's the risk? And it's all about communication, really. So if you look at the principles behind the manifesto, then, if you look at communication, what do you think, let's just go through them. What do you think this has to do with communication and collaboration? Yes, you have to discover what's value. Exactly. So you need to communicate with some customer. I won't go through all the principles because, if you really want to dive into the manifesto very deep, I could talk about it for days. So I have to skip some. So deliver working software frequently. You need to communicate. How frequent? When do you want to deliver it? How do you want to deliver it? All that kind of things. You have to work together. Build projects around motivated individuals. There's the individual again. But you need you need to build some project around the individuals to make them work together. Otherwise, and you need to give them the support they need, but you have to ask them what support they need. So you have to talk again. So this is, of course, face-to-face communication, which is very important, working software as a measure of progress. But then you need to know what the working software is about. And you always, if you have working software, I think we all agree, you can't have working software unless you've somehow tested it. So you need to work together with testers and builders. And if you want to have a good design, you need to know what's good, right? And if you want to know about if you want to simplify your process and have as much not done as, just enough done, if you decide, for instance, not to document, you might want to think about, well, which information should we communicate about? And in which way? So we have these self-organizing teams. So to be self-organizing, you need to communicate. It's getting a bit boring, isn't it? Because it's all about communication. And also the last one, if you want to have retrospectives, that's again about communication. Well, you can have a retrospective on your own as an individual, but I think it works better if you communicate on it. So, in the end, everything comes back to communication. And if we look at testing, it means that you should integrate testing in the Agile process and in your Agile team. You shouldn't have testers working apart somewhere on some other department, because that makes communication hard and that makes the integration of testing difficult. And then you won't be able to deal with dependencies as good as if you were working together and really collaborating. And so how do we get to communicate? Well, in the beginning, I sat here and someone said, oh, it's your talk. And then I said, oh, well, then I'll take responsibility and I'll start talking. And it's only when people feel responsible, they will start to communicate. But if you have individuals in a team, just one individual in a team, feeling responsible for the whole team, he'll either become a manager, doing everything for everybody in the team, because he feels responsible, or he might get a burnout, doing everything for the whole team. And I've noticed in one of my teams that we had someone with a lot of knowledge, and everybody trusted him, and he was a great programmer, and he knew everything, he had a solution for everything, and people would just look at him and say, what do we have to do? Well, so he told them, I mean, and everything went well, but they didn't think for themselves anymore, and they weren't working as a team. So it's important to work as a team, because if you work as a team, you have more ideas on, oh, wait, that's a great idea, but how are we going to test it? And like with the blocks, if you just have great programmers building a great construction, it's human to have bugs. So you need to work together to find the bugs as soon as possible, because that's in the end more effective. And it's also more motivating for the individuals. So the first value of the manifesto, individuals and interactions, have the focus. But I think it should be more like people and interaction. Because not the individual, yes, the individuals are important. You need to make sure, they feel happy in the team, etc. But in the end, it's about the team. And by communicating, team responsibly really is the key to Agile testing. If you want people to communicate, you need them to feel responsible as a team. So I'm afraid it's time. It's a very short time. I would love to talk all day about this. So please, if you want to know more, come and look me up and we'll talk. And there is a book available in Dutch yet, but it's on Team App in Scrum. It will be in English in December. And please evaluate my presentation. And thank you very much for joining me.
So this morning at the Lean Cafe, we talked about, actually we see a tendency that companies are going back to testing departments, like say, well, you can develop in a natural way, but testing happens here.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that? We when you say we have to integrate testing, where I
Mhm.
think we all agree to the reality.
So how do you do that?
Yeah.
Communicate, make people feel responsible for testing. Make programmers feel responsible for testing. Let them help you. That's one of the main measures you can take. Stop thinking from the individual you and start thinking on how can my team members help me and how can I help them in return. And let's say, let's do this together. And, search for collaboration, real collaboration, not just, oh, I've got a question, can you help me? Okay, bye, thank you. No, just make them understand why you do test the way you test, why you do things the way you do them, and what's the use, and how can they help you. People never refuse to help other people if you ask them. It's usually the people are too modest to ask other people to help them. And also a lot of people think, oh, I should be able to do this. I have a high education, I should be able to do this. And then they won't ask help. Does this answer your question? Any other questions? No? Thank you very much.